dolphin, wrote Plutarch 2,000 years ago, has no need at all of men, yet it is a genial friend to all. The wild dolphin finally decides the gift of the fish is genuine, and it accepts. Such extraordinary adventures with dolphins have been reported from Australia and New Zealand for years. In New Zealand in 1956, a wild dolphin swam into this beach and played with the bathers. The dolphin returned every day throughout the season, and the beach became a tourist attraction as thousands came out each weekend to witness this marvel. The story could have come straight from Greek mythology, which is filled with tales of dolphins playing, helping, even rescuing people. The killer whale, cousin to the dolphin, can be as fearsome as the dolphin is friendly. Like man, he kills for sport as well as food, and will devour anything from penguins to the great whales. But he has also been known to offer extraordinary help to man. At a whaling museum in Australia, an old whaler describes events that occurred in a place called Twofold Bay.
The skeleton you're looking at, he was commonly known as the killer whale. He was the fastest, fiercest, and most dreaded thing that swam in the sea, feared by everything that moved in the ocean, from the biggest whale to a penguin.
Over 100 years ago, killer whales began to arrive mysteriously in Twofold Bay, just as southern right whales made their annual appearance offshore. Thereafter, the sight of the killer's fins signaled the opening of the whaling season. Local whalers would ready their boats and put out to sea.
When the whales came, they formed up in a teamwork. Went 20 miles out to sea, they brought the whales into the bay like dogs drove cattle. There's no explanation to it. They were never trained. One of the unsolved mysteries of the world. For it's the only place in the world where the sea monster joined in with men in catching whales.
No one can yet explain how it happened or why. But the killer whales, out of some rationale all their own, attached themselves to a single family of whalers, the Davisons. It was toward their boats that they drove the catch, crowding the southern right whales from all sides, so they were forced near enough to the Davisons for a member of this whaling family to spear them one by one with his harpoon. A killer whale measures a bare 30 feet. The whales they shepherded toward shore were up to twice that size. For 5 generations, the killers herded whales for the Davisons. When other whaling boats tried to enter Twofold Bay, the killers would harass them until they left, clearly indicating an ability to think and make almost human decisions. Finally, Australian offshore whaling became uneconomical. Deep-sea whalers took over. But the killers menaced even these new and bigger whaling boats, and the whalers shot them one by one. There are also stories of dolphins helping fishermen. In Roman times, fishermen in what is now France made use of dolphins to drive mullet into their nets. These Australian fishermen have no such help. There are countless other stories of the dolphin's interest in man. Why remains a mystery. Equally mysterious is the story of their evolution, as we'll see in a minute. In the murky light of prehistory, the dolphin was a land animal. Perhaps the sea encroached upon the land. Perhaps he found more food beneath the waters. Whatever the reason, 100 million years ago, he left the land and gradually became a creature of the deep. Ears, hair, and legs gone. Nostrils moved to the top of his head, his body fish-shaped. In the flipper, this tame dolphin's origins are evident. A plastic model reveals all the bones but one of the vestigial forearm. The teeth are now small, sharp pegs designed to seize and hold the fish. No fish could possibly wriggle free. The eye has become convex, better adapted for underwater vision. All that is left of the hairy coat is a small mustache which disappears shortly after birth. Only marks of its roots remain on the adult dolphin. This tiny slit, which is an ear, gives no clue to the dolphin's incredibly acute hearing. The dolphin generally surfaces about every 3 minutes to breathe through this repositioned nostril. Unlike the side-to-side motion of fish, dolphin tails move up and down. Hard as it is to visualize, this dolphin was once a four-legged, hairy animal, perhaps like a dog. Unlike land mammals, the dolphin baby is not born head first, so it won't accidentally inhale water through its blowhole and drown. The mother, during pregnancy, chooses a female companion who stays with her from then on. Should anything happen to the mother, this midwife, hovering out of sight but close by, will take over care of the baby. The baby will live literally in its mother's shadow for more than a year, as she teaches it to survive and adapt. David Brown, curator of Marineland of Australia, discusses the learning process.
Many years ago in California, when working at Marineland of the Pacific, we brought in 4 dolphins, bottlenose dolphins, from the Atlantic coast. 2 of these dolphins, the young males, had been born in captivity, whilst the other 2 females, had been captured just a few days before their flight across the United States. Several months after their arrival, our collector came in with about 60 or 70 very large yellowtail kingfish, and several of these fish were introduced into the dolphin tank. Then we observed a truly extraordinary sight. The 2 females took these large fish down to the bottom and pounded them on the floor of the tank until literally the flesh was just pulped up in a bag of skin. They then proceeded to bite off lumps and swallow the lumps. They then seized 2 more yellowtail and enacted the same behavioral pattern. The 2 young males, however, they swam around the pool holding their yellowtail in their jaws, and they didn't know how to cope. Now, this demonstrated, of course, that there must be a very interesting mother-young relationship. And in the open sea, the mother dolphin teaches its young how to cope with certain situations. Now, the young dolphins born in captivity had never been taught how to cope with a big fish, and so as a result of this, they were completely helpless.
As important as eating is breathing. In the wild, the baby dolphin expands and strengthens its lungs by holding its breath as it dives deep. In captivity, the mother recognizes that aquarium waters are too shallow, so she holds the baby at the bottom of the tank, forcing its lungs to work overtime. Some authorities think a dolphin can hold its breath underwater for 10 to 15 minutes. Others put it at half that. Dolphins use echolocation to find their way in deep and murky waters. It is also thought that these sounds may be some form of language, although science has yet to discover their meaning. Since antiquity, men have been fascinated by the dolphin and marveled at its behavior. One of the most intriguing things about the dolphin is its apparent premonition of death and the fact that many return to die on the land from which their ancestors came. David Brown quotes the 3rd century Greek poet Oppian on the dolphin's seeming sense of destiny.
This other excellent deed of the dolphins have I seen and admire, When fell disease and fatal draws nigh unto them, they fail not to note but are aware of the end of life. Then they leave the wide waters of the deep and hurl themselves upon the shallow shore where perchance some mortal man may take pity on the holy messenger of Poseidon when he lies low and cover his body with a mound of shingle. For 3 years in California, I examined all of the cadavers that stranded in a 50-mile stretch of California coastline. In each case, I found terminal disease the reason for these animals' demise. They hurled themselves upon the shallow shore when fell disease and fatal drew nigh unto them.
The cause of mass strandings of dolphins and whales is a different story.
Mass strands are usually caused by a herd of animals or a school of animals getting into shallow water. And for the first time in their lives, one of the school members will bring down its tail and touch the solid seabed. This is a new experience, and it panics. And instead of going out to sea, it will head for the shore. Owing to the fact that these whales are gregarious or social creatures, the panicking animal assumes leadership of the school and guides the whole school to a certain death on the shallow sea shore.
According to this theory, dolphins seem to think the shore is an obstruction, and in panic they leap forward to bypass it, only to beach themselves. Another theory is they become disoriented and don't know which way to turn. But the greatest mystery about the dolphin is why it cares about people. That next. The growing popularity of sea worlds and aquariums has produced a growing demand for marine performers. As a result, dolphin capture has become a skilled profession. The dolphin's intelligence makes him a challenging target. To the dolphin, at first, the chase is just another game. He can coast along on the pressure wave created by the bow of the boat. Dolphins are even known to ride on the bow wave created by the great whales. This female bottlenose dolphin, considered the most intelligent species of dolphins, is today's target.
Pull it in. Pull it in. John, you got it?
With one thrust of her snout, the 9-foot, 350-pound dolphin could easily kill the man now in the water with her. But her first instinct is to escape from the net, and she leaves him alone.
Who's the strongest? What do you want me, John? Big Dick. What do you want me? Big Dick, where's he? There he is.
Landing a dolphin is a delicate business. Out of the buoyant water, the dolphin will feel her own body weight for the first time. This condition is not only uncomfortable, but may be harmful to the animal.
We're bringing a dolphin. We'll be back in.
First, a sedative for the traumatic trip back to shore. The trip must be made quickly to return the dolphin to water as fast as possible. The animal is hosed down to keep her from overheating. transfer from sling to sea aquarium is perhaps the most crucial and delicate step. By now, the dolphin is completely disoriented. If she is just put into the pool, she might drown. So she is eased into the water, and an attendant cradles her until she regains her balance and ability to function. Now she is ready to be trained.
Go, Mama.
Dolphins will play with almost anything. The new captive toys with a baby Port Jackson shark. Adult sharks terrorize most creatures, yet dolphins are known to attack sharks. With their blunt noses, they can cave in a shark's rib cage or underside and kill it. Training is based on the usual system of repetition and reward. But in the case of the dolphin, its natural playfulness and sense of mischief are encouraged. The trainer is also careful not to demand too much of his pupil, especially if the dolphin is male. The male is more temperamental and unpredictable than the female. This newcomer is being trained to swat the ball with her tail. She isn't very good yet. This dolphin is a veteran. He's interested in food, but he'd rather not work for it. Yet fish are handed out only for successful performances. The old-timer realizes he's going to have to work for his supper, so in bravura style, he takes the ball away and gets himself some fish. Performing dolphins are herded into individual pens to wait for the curtain or barrier to the pool to go up. Unused to restriction, they chafe and take out their restiveness on each other. No one could be more eager than the dolphin for the show to go on. According to Greek legend, dolphins were once men. If indeed they were, they must have been more joyous beings than men today. How they retained that quality and why they care to share it with us is the dolphin's secret. Perhaps someday we will learn that secret. Meantime, we can wonder at them and enjoy them as they certainly enjoy themselves.